The rain-slicked streets of Manhattan gleamed under the neon haze, a cruel mirror to the chaos tearing through my chest. I stood frozen outside the glass tower of the Meridian Sky Club, its 50 stories piercing the storm clouds like a blade. My sapphire gown clung to my skin, heavy with the weight of the downpour and the betrayal that had just gutted me. The paparazzi's flashbulbs popped like gunfire, each burst capturing my humiliation for tomorrow's tabloids. I was Emily Carter, 32, a marketing executive who'd clawed her way to a corner office, and yet here I was, barred from my own sister's wedding, my name erased from the guest list like I was nothing. "Ma'am, you're not on the list," the security guard said, his face carved from stone, his hand resting on the holster at his hip. His partner, a bald man with a scar slicing his eyebrow, scanned his tablet again, as if my existence might magically appear. The crowd behind the velvet ropes surged, phones raised, recording my unraveling. I forced a smile, the kind I'd perfected in boardrooms, but my hand shook as I clutched my clutch purse, the engraved crystal sculpture inside. A wedding gift for Olivia, feeling like a brick. "There's a mistake," I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside. "I'm Emily Carter, the bride's sister." The guards exchanged a glance, and the bald one muttered into his earpiece. I caught the words "uninvited" and "escort out." My stomach lurched. This wasn't a clerical error. This was deliberate. Before I could argue, the glass doors hissed open, and there she was, Victoria Carter, my mother, media mogul, queen of Manhattan's elite. Her silver gown shimmered like armor, her platinum hair swept into a chignon that screamed control. The paparazzi roared, shouting her name, but her ice-sharp eyes locked on me, sharp as a scalpel. "Emily," she said, her voice low, venomous, "you thought you'd crash this? Nobodies don't belong here." The words hit like a slap, stealing my breath. I'd spent my life chasing her approval, crafting campaigns that rivaled her empires, designing every detail of Olivia's wedding to prove my worth, and now, in front of New York's glitterati, she'd branded me a nobody. The crowd hushed, sensing blood in the water. Flashbulbs flared, immortalizing my disgrace. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but years of swallowing her barbs held me back. Instead, I straightened, my trembling lips curving into a defiant smile. "Then I'll vanish like a nobody," I said, my voice cutting through the rain. I turned, my heels clicking on the wet pavement, and walked away as whispers rippled through the onlookers. I didn't look back, but I felt her gaze burning into me, felt the weight of the cameras, the weight of my sister's absence. Olivia, my golden child sister, hadn't even come out to face me. She was inside, radiant in her Vera Wang gown, marrying Nathan Caldwell, Wall Street's darling, while I was cast out like a stranger. The betrayal wasn't just Victoria's, it was Olivia's too. My chest tightened, a sob clawing at my throat, but I refused to let it escape. Not here. Not yet. I reached my car, a sleek black Audi parked 2 blocks away, and fumbled with the keys, my hands slick with rain. The paparazzi had followed, their shouts muffled by the storm. "Emily, why weren't you invited? Is it true you're disowned?" I slid into the driver's seat, slamming the door, and gripped the wheel until my knuckles whitened. The engine roared to life, and I peeled out, tires screeching, the city blurring past. Rage and pain churned inside me, a toxic cocktail that made my vision swim. The rain hammered the windshield, wipers useless against the deluge. I pressed the gas harder, the speedometer climbing. 60, 70, 80. A truck loomed ahead, its horn blaring, and I swerved at the last second, my car fishtailing across the slick asphalt. My heart pounded, adrenaline spiking, but I didn't slow down. I couldn't, not when my world had just imploded. I don't know how I made it to Central Park without crashing. I pulled over near the Bethesda fountain, its angel statue ghostly in the rain, and cut the engine. The silence was deafening, broken only by my ragged breaths. I pressed my forehead to the steering wheel, the sob I'd held back finally breaking free. It wasn't just the wedding. It was a lifetime of being invisible, of being less than Olivia, of begging for scraps of love from a mother who saw me as a liability. I'd designed every detail of that wedding: invitations, branding, digital filters, poured my soul into it, thinking it might finally make them see me. Olivia, I grew up in a Connecticut mansion, a sprawling estate of marble and glass paid for by my father, James Carter, a hedge fund titan. He was my safe harbor, the one who saw my spark. While Olivia, 4 years older, basked in Victoria's spotlight, I found solace in strategy, sketching ad campaigns and writing poetry in my room. Dad would sit with me, his warm laugh filling the air, telling me my ideas could change the world. "You're a visionary, Em," he'd say, ruffling my hair. Those moments were my lifeline, in a house where I faded into the wallpaper. Olivia was Victoria's mirror. Charismatic, glamorous, destined for fame. By 16, she was landing TV gigs, her face on billboards, while I was the quiet one, the brainy one, the one who didn't fit Victoria's mold. But Dad balanced it, his love a shield against Victoria's indifference. Then, when I was 16, everything shattered. Dad's private jet went down over the Atlantic, a mechanical failure they called it, though whispers of sabotage haunted the headlines. I stood at his funeral, clutching his monogrammed pen, while Victoria clung to Olivia, her sobs performative for the cameras. I was alone, adrift, and Victoria's favoritism, once subtle, became a blade. She threw herself into Olivia's career, managing her every move, while I was told to handle myself. "You're so independent, Emily," she'd say, not with pride, but with dismissal, as if my existence was an inconvenience. I learned to navigate her neglect, excelling in school to prove I wasn't invisible. At 17, I pitched a viral ad campaign to Victoria's media empire, Carter Media Group, a bold move to bridge the gap between us. I stood in her sleek boardroom, heart racing, presenting to her and her shark-eyed executives. "It's amateur," she said, her laugh sharp, slicing through my confidence. "Stick to school, Emily." The executives smirked, and I burned with shame, vowing to outshine her one day. I won a National Marketing Award at 18, a scholarship to NYU's Stern School of Business, but Victoria brushed it off. A hobby, she called it, while Olivia's latest TV role was groundbreaking. Olivia's jealousy surfaced when I got into NYU. "Some people get all the luck," she said at dinner, her smile tight. Victoria chimed in. "Olivia's charisma opens real doors, not just classrooms." It stung, but I buried the pain, determined to carve my own path. At NYU, I thrived, freelancing for tech startups, building a name in digital marketing. By 28, I was a senior executive at Vanguard Agency, a top Manhattan firm with a corner office overlooking the Hudson. My campaigns were bold, innovative, earning me industry buzz. But every Sunday I'd Zoom with Victoria, enduring her comparisons. "Olivia's hosting a gala," she'd say, or "Olivia's new show is a hit." My achievements, a viral campaign for a Fortune 500 client at 30, were footnotes. When Olivia got engaged to Nathan Caldwell, a Wall Street tycoon, Victoria's focus shifted entirely. Nathan's wealth and connections were Victoria's ticket to the elite circles she'd always craved, and Olivia's wedding became her coronation. I offered to brand the wedding, hoping it might mend our fractured bond. "I'll design the invitations, the website, everything," I said at a tense family dinner in Victoria's penthouse. Olivia raised an eyebrow. "Can you make it luxe enough? We need it to scream wealth." I swallowed my pride. "I'm a professional, Olivia. I've branded for billion-dollar companies." Victoria smirked. "If you can handle it, It'll save us a fortune." I agreed, naive enough to think my work might earn their respect. The wedding planning consumed them for 18 months, a $2 million 0-cent spectacle at the Meridian Sky Club. My role ballooned: logos, gold-embossed invites, social media filters, LED displays for the rooftop reception. I worked nights, weekends, pouring my heart into every detail, believing it might make me family again. Olivia demanded endless revisions. "Make it fancier," she'd text, or "Mom says the font's too plain." I complied, each change a test I couldn't fail, but cracks appeared. My name was missing from the wedding website's Our Family page. I called Olivia. "Just an oversight," she said, distracted. Weeks later, it was still missing. No invitation arrived, though I'd designed them myself. I told myself it was an assumption. I was family, I didn't need one. Then I noticed my name wasn't on the digital seating chart. I called Olivia, my voice tight. "I'm not listed anywhere." She sighed. "You're staff, Emily, not a guest. You'll be busy running things." "I'm not your coordinator," I snapped. "I'm your sister." She paused. "We'll figure it out." Her vagueness chilled me, but I pushed forward, buying a sapphire gown that matched the wedding's palette, a custom crystal sculpture engraved with Olivia and Nathan's initials. I wanted to be perfect, to belong. The day before the wedding, I found something that shook me. In Dad's old study, now Victoria's storage room, I was looking for a photo for the memory board I'd designed. Tucked in a drawer was a note in Dad's handwriting: "Protect Emily from V's ambition." My breath caught. What did it mean? Had he seen Victoria's cruelty coming? The note felt like a warning, but I had no time to decode it. I slipped it into my purse, my mind racing. Wedding day arrived, a stormy Saturday that mirrored my unease. I woke at dawn, nerves jangling, and texted Olivia. "Big day. Love you." No reply. I drove to the Meridian, my emergency kit, extra invites, flash drives, superglue on the passenger seat. The skyscraper loomed, its glass facade reflecting the churning sky. Valets and florists buzzed, paparazzi already staking out the entrance. I approached the security desk, my gown shimmering under my trench coat. "Emily Carter, bride's sister," I said. The guard, Claire, frowned at her tablet. "You're the designer? I thought you were remote." My heart sank. "I'm her sister." She checked again, then called for backup. 2 armed guards appeared, their presence a silent threat. "There's no Emily Carter on the list," one said. I laughed, disbelieving. "Check again. I designed everything. The invites, the branding." Claire's eyes narrowed. "I need to speak to Mrs. Carter." Minutes later, Victoria emerged, her presence sucking the air from the lobby. "What's the problem?" she asked, her tone clipped. "Mom, they say I'm not invited," I said, certain she'd fix it. Her gaze was cold, final. "You're no daughter of mine," she said, loud enough for the staff to hear. The guards stepped closer, hands on their belts. I stumbled back, the world tilting. "I'm your daughter," I whispered. "Olivia's sister." Victoria's lips curled. "You've always been a liability, Emily. Olivia's day is about perfection, not your drama." The paparazzi outside sensed the commotion, their flashes blinding through the glass. I saw Claire whispering to another guard, heard escort her out. My legs moved before my mind caught up, carrying me toward the doors. A guard grabbed my arm, too tight, and I yanked free, slipping on the wet marble floor. I caught the railing just before tumbling down the grand staircase, my heart hammering. "Don't touch me," I hissed, and they backed off, but their eyes followed me out. The rain hit me like a wall, soaking my gown, my hair. Paparazzi swarmed, shouting, "Emily, why are you leaving? Family feud?" I pushed through, head high, but inside I was crumbling. I reached my car, the sculptures still in my purse, a cruel reminder of my naivety. I sped off, the truck near miss a blur of lights and horns. In Central Park I sat, the fountain's roar drowning my thoughts. Memories flooded back. Dad's pride, Victoria's dismissals, Olivia's jealousy. I'd normalized it, blamed myself, but now the truth was undeniable. I was unwanted. I called Lauren, my college roommate, now a crisis PR guru. "They didn't invite me," I choked out. "I'm outside. They threw me out." "Those monsters," she said, already grabbing her keys. "Stay there." 20 minutes later, her red Jeep pulled up and she ran to me, pulling me into a hug. "We're fixing this," she said, her voice fierce. In her loft, I sobbed, the kind of sobs that leave you hollow. "I designed everything," I said. "Every detail they're using has my name on it, but I wasn't good enough to stay." Lauren's eyes blazed. "This isn't about you, Em. It's about them being vile." My phone buzzed. Texts from Victoria. "Your stunt embarrassed us. Don't expect an inheritance." Olivia posted wedding photos, my designs everywhere, but I was erased. Lauren grabbed my phone. "Block them. Now." I hesitated, my finger hovering. My whole life I'd chased their love. Could I let go? "They already let you go," Lauren said softly. I blocked them, the silence both terrifying and free. That night, I couldn't sleep. Dad's note haunting me. "Protect Emily from V's ambition." What had he known? I opened my laptop, finding an old email from his lawyer sent days before the crash. "Regarding your trust, Emily's portion is secure." Trust? I'd never heard of one. Had Victoria hidden it? The questions swirled, a puzzle I couldn't solve yet. But one thing was clear. I wasn't the problem. I never had been, and that truth, as painful as it was the first step towards something new, something mine. The rain had stopped, but the city's pulse throbbed in my ears as I sat in Lauren's loft, the glow of her laptop screen casting shadows across my tear-streaked face. My sapphire gown, now a sodden heap in a trash bag by the door, felt like a discarded dream, a relic of the Emily Carter who'd believed she could earn a seat at her family's table. The viral video of my ejection from Olivia's wedding was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TMZ, each click amplifying my humiliation. "Carter family feud," screamed one headline. "Disowned at the altar," blared another. My phone buzzed relentlessly. Victoria's text burning in my memory. "You've disgraced us. Don't expect an inheritance." I'd blocked her and Olivia, but the silence that followed was a void, vast and suffocating. Lauren paced, her phone pressed to her ear, barking orders to her PR team. "Kill the narrative," she snapped. "Plant stories about Emily's brilliance at Vanguard. Bury this wedding nonsense." She caught my eye and softened, tossing her phone onto the couch. "We're fixing this, Em. You're not a pariah. They are." I nodded, numb. My fingers tracing the edge of Dad's cryptic note, still tucked in my purse. "Protect Emily from V's ambition." It was a lifeline, a puzzle I couldn't yet solve, but it tethered me to something real. Dad's love, his warning. I replayed the night, each moment a fresh wound. Offering to brand Olivia's wedding had been my olive branch, a desperate bid to mend the chasm between us. I'd poured my soul into logos, gold-embossed invites, social media filters, even custom LED displays for the Meridian's rooftop spectacle. 18 months of sleepless nights, Olivia's demands. "Make it scream wealth!" And Victoria's skepticism, "Can you even handle this?" had worn me down. Yet I'd persisted, believing my work might make them see me. Instead, they'd erased me. My name missing from the website's Our Family page, no invitation arriving, my seat unassigned. Olivia's dismissal, "Your staff, not a guest," had been a gut punch, but Victoria's final blow, "You're no daughter of mine," had shattered me. Lauren's voice cut through my spiral. You need sleep and a plan. She handed me a mug of chamomile tea, its steam curling like a ghost. Tomorrow, we hit back. Your boss called. Some nonsense about addressing the scandal. We'll prep a statement. I froze, the mug burning my palms. My boss, Richard, had texted during the chaos. Fix this, Emily, or we'll need to talk. My job at Vanguard Agency, my corner office, my reputation, everything I'd built was at risk. The scandal wasn't just personal. It threatened to torch my career. I couldn't sleep, so I scrolled through my emails, landing on the one from Dad's lawyer, sent days before his jet crashed. Regarding your trust, Emily's portion is secure. Trust? Victoria had never mentioned one. Had she hidden it to control me? Or was it tied to Dad's note? The questions gnawed, but exhaustion pulled me under, dreams of falling staircases and flashing cameras haunting me. Morning brought a new nightmare. Lauren's phone pinged with an alert. A digital billboard in Times Square had been hacked, my face plastered across it with "Wedding Crasher" in bold, red letters. My heart stopped. This isn't random, Lauren said, her jaw tight. Someone's targeting you. The image went viral, my phone lighting up with notifications, clients questioning my professionalism, colleagues gossiping, Olivia's fans piling on with vitriol. I felt exposed, hunted, my reputation teetering on a knife's edge. We need to move, Lauren said, grabbing her keys. My office. We'll trace the hack and draft your statement. I nodded, pulling on her borrowed sweatshirt, my mind racing. Who would do this? Victoria to punish me? Olivia to deflect attention? Or someone else, tied to Dad's warning? We took a cab to Lauren's midtown PR firm, the city's skyscrapers looming like judges. Inside, her team was already working, screens flashing with data. The hack's sophisticated, her tech guy, Max, said, traced to an offshore server. Whoever did this has money and motive. As Lauren strategized, I flashed back to a moment weeks before the wedding, delivering mock-ups to Olivia's penthouse on Park Avenue. I'd stepped into the private elevator, portfolio in hand, nerves frayed from her latest demands. The doors closed and the car lurched upward, then stopped. The lights flickered, and the air grew thick. I pressed the emergency button, but no response came. Panic clawed at me, my claustrophobia kicking in. Memories of being locked in a closet as a kid by Olivia's prank flooding back. I banged on the doors, my breaths shallow, sweat beating on my neck. Hours passed, 2, maybe 3, before the elevator jolted back to life, opening to a maintenance crew. Faulty wiring, they said, but I'd seen the security camera's red light blink off just before the stop. Had it been tampered with? I'd brushed it off then, too focused on the wedding, but now it felt like a warning. Lauren's voice snapped me back. We've got a draft for Richard. It's neutral. Acknowledges the misunderstanding at the wedding, emphasizes your work at Vanguard. I read it, the words hollow. This won't stop the bleeding, I said. I need to face this head on. Lauren raised an eyebrow. You sure? It's a war out there. I nodded, steeling myself. I'm done hiding. We scheduled a video call with Richard, my heart pounding as his face appeared on screen, his usual warmth replaced by a frown. Emily, this is a mess, he said. Clients are spooked. The board's asking questions. I took a breath, channeling the defiance I'd felt facing Victoria. I was excluded from my sister's wedding, Richard, through no fault of my own. My work at Vanguard speaks for itself. 3 viral campaigns, millions in revenue. I'm addressing this publicly to clear my name. His eyes narrowed, assessing. You've got 1 week to turn this around or we'll need to part ways. The call ended, the threat hanging like a guillotine. Lauren squeezed my shoulder. You nailed it. Now let's make it stick. We crafted a social media post, raw and honest. I was uninvited from my sister's wedding, a painful family matter. But I'm Emily Carter, and my work defines me, not my family's choices. Thank you for your support. I hesitated, finger hovering over post. This was war, a public break from Victoria and Olivia. I hit send, and within minutes the likes and comments poured in. Colleagues, clients, strangers rallying behind me. But Olivia's fans countered, their attacks vicious. Liar, attention seeker. I shut my phone off, my resolve wavering. That afternoon, I needed air, so I walked to a coffee shop near Lauren's office. As I waited in line, a man bumped into me, my purse spilling. He apologized, handing back my wallet, but his eyes lingered too long. I thanked him, unease prickling my spine. Back at the table, I opened my purse to find Dad's note gone. My blood ran cold. Had he taken it? I scanned the shop, but he was gone. The note's loss felt like losing Dad again, and worse, it meant someone was watching me, close enough to strike. Lauren's phone rang, pulling me back. It's my contact at Carter Media, she said, answering. Her face darkened as she listened. You're kidding. She hung up, turning to me. Victoria's planning a press conference tomorrow, spinning the wedding as a security issue to justify kicking you out. Rage flared, hot and sharp. She's rewriting history, I said. I can't let her. We worked late, digging for leverage. Max found a recording from the Meridian's security feed, leaked by a sympathetic staffer. It showed Victoria ordering guards to keep Emily away from Nathan's investors, her voice cold, calculated. What investors? I wondered aloud. Nathan's hedge fund was thriving, but rumors of shady deals had swirled. Was Victoria protecting something bigger? The trust fund, maybe? The email from Dad's lawyer hinted at a hidden inheritance, but details were vague. I needed answers, but every step felt like walking through a minefield. The next day, I attended a pre-wedding gala flashback, a glittering event at the Met, where Victoria had publicly credited Olivia for my designs. I'd stood in my emerald dress, smiling through the sting as guests applauded Olivia's genius. Victoria had leaned in, whispering, "Don't make a scene, Emily. This is her night." I'd nodded, swallowing my pride, but the memory now fueled my fire. I wouldn't let her steal my truth again. Lauren arranged for me to crash Victoria's press conference, a risky move, but necessary. We arrived at Carter Media's headquarters, a glass monolith in Midtown. Reporters packed the lobby, cameras rolling. Victoria took the podium, her face a mask of concern. The wedding was a private event, disrupted by an uninvited individual posing a security risk, she said, her eyes scanning the crowd. I stepped forward, heart pounding, the leaked security footage cued on my phone. "That's a lie," I said, my voice carrying. Gasps rippled through the room. "I'm Emily Carter, the bride's sister, and I was deliberately excluded after designing the entire event." The reporters erupted, shouting questions. Victoria's composure cracked, her eyes blazing. "This is a family matter," she snapped, but I held up my phone, playing the footage. Her voice echoed, "Keep Emily away from Nathan's investors." And the room fell silent. I saw fear flicker in her eyes, a rare crack in her armor. "Why, Mom?" I asked, my voice breaking. "What are you hiding?" She signaled security and 2 guards moved toward me, but Lauren stepped in, flashing her press badge. "Touch her, and you're on every front page for assault," she said. The guards hesitated, and I seized the moment, turning to the cameras. I designed Olivia's wedding out of love, and they erased me. I'm done being invisible. We left before security could regroup, adrenaline coursing through me. Outside, paparazzi swarmed, their questions a blur. Disownment? Family secrets? But a rogue photographer broke through, his camera inches from my face. I ducked into a cab, Lauren beside me, but the photographer's motorcycle tailed us, weaving through traffic. The cab swerved, tires screeching, nearly clipping a bus in Times Square. My heart raced, the chase a visceral reminder of the danger I'd stumbled into. The photographer peeled off, but his pursuit wasn't random. Someone wanted me silenced. Back at Lauren's, I collapsed, the press conference replaying online. My supporters grew, but so did the backlash. Olivia tweeted, "Some people will do anything for fame." The betrayal cut deeper than Victoria's words. Then my phone pinged. An anonymous email with a grainy photo of Dad meeting a man in a suit, time-stamped days before his crash. The message read, "Ask Victoria about the Cayman accounts." My breath caught. Was this tied to the trust fund? To Nathan's investors? Or Dad's death? The puzzle was growing, each piece more dangerous than the last. I flashed back to the wedding day, arriving early at the Meridian, only to be stopped by Claire, the coordinator, demanding ID. "I thought you were a vendor," she'd said, her confusion genuine. Victoria had blocked me from seeing Olivia, snapping, "Stay out of the way." I'd slipped on the wet marble floor, nearly tumbling down the grand staircase, the guard's hands hovering but not helping. Later, from the balcony, I'd watched the ceremony, excluded from family seating, my heart breaking as Victoria posed with Olivia in Nathan's elite circle. The guard's whispers, "Victoria's orders keep her away from investors," had been a clue I'd missed. Now it screamed conspiracy. Lauren's tech team dug into the Cayman accounts, finding shell companies linked to Nathan's hedge fund. "This is big," Max said. "Fraud, maybe worse." I remembered overhearing Victoria on a call weeks before the wedding, her voice hushed. Emily's too close to the truth about the trust fund. Had she meant Dad's trust? Or something dirtier? The stakes were climbing, and I was in the crosshairs. That night, I dreamed of Dad, his voice calm but urgent. "You're stronger than you know, Em." I woke with a start, tears on my cheeks, but a fire in my chest. I couldn't run from this. I had to fight. For my truth, for Dad's legacy, for myself. Lauren walked in, holding coffee. "Ready for round 2?" she asked. I nodded, my resolve hardening. Let's burn their lies to the ground. The next morning, Vanguard called. Richard's voice was grim. "The board's impressed by your guts, Emily, but clients are pulling accounts. We need you to step back temporarily." My stomach dropped. "Fired?" I asked. "Suspended," he said. "Fix the narrative, and you're back." I hung up, fury and fear colliding. My career, my identity was slipping away. But I wouldn't let Victoria win. Lauren's contact at the DA's office reached out, hinting at an investigation into Nathan's fund. "Stay low," they warned. "You're poking a bear." But I couldn't stop. I met a whistleblower, a former Carter Media exec, in a dive bar. He slid me a USB drive. "Victoria diverted millions from James's trust to Olivia's startup," he whispered. "And Nathan's fund launders it. Your dad was about to blow the whistle when—" He stopped, eyes darting. "Be careful, Emily." I left, the USB burning in my pocket, but a car idled across the street, its driver watching me. I ducked into a subway, my pulse racing, paranoia setting in. At Lauren's, we opened the USB, finding bank records and emails. One stood out. "Victoria to Nathan, if Emily digs, we're exposed." My hands shook. This wasn't just about the wedding. It was a cover-up, maybe tied to Dad's death. I wept, not from pain, but release. I wasn't the problem. They were, and I had proof. I drafted a new post, linking the footage and the whistleblower's claims. "My family erased me to hide their secrets," I wrote. "I'm fighting for truth, for my father's legacy." I posted, the internet exploding. Support, skepticism, threats. Olivia called, her voice raw. "You're ruining my life, Emily. Nathan's leaving me. Stop this." I paused, her pain echoing mine, but I saw the manipulation. "You chose them, Olivia," I said, hanging up. That night, I stood on Lauren's balcony, the city sprawling below. I'd lost my family, my job, my safety, But I'd found something unbreakable. My voice. Dad's note, the email, the USB. They were my weapons. Victoria had tried to erase me, but I was rewriting the story. I wasn't a nobody. I was Emily Carter, and I was just beginning.